how to prepare the deliverables for submission. Let's say we have all the pictures taken and we have uploaded them onto our computer. First, we're going to process the pictures in Photoshop. Open the work order in the Photoshop. Now we have the work order. You can see that there are rulers on top. If you don't see the rulers, just go to View and make the rulers appear. So now the rulers disappeared. Let's make them appear again. View, rulers. Where are they? There they are. This picture is about 40 inches wide and over 50 inches tall. We're going to crop this picture. There are many ways of cropping it. We're going to do it this way. Select the selection tool. We just want about this much of the work order. Of course, the work order has to be filled by hand. So we have selected that, and we're just going to go Image, Crop. Now adjust light levels. So we're going to hold Control and press L for the level. So Control L. I'm going to press it right now. So we have the sub menu, and this is the dynamics, the visual dynamics represented graphically. If you play with those sliders, you can see different things are happening to the picture. See what auto does. I just press the auto and it calculates the levels. It's not bad. Okay, so we have the dynamics. Just one more thing, sometimes you need to rotate the image. So if you need to do that, just go to Image, Image Rotation, and then you can rotate the image. Let's say go clockwise. I'm going to rotate that back. Image rotation, counterclockwise. Still we have that image quite large because from here to here is about 30 inches. We don't want that. So let's resize the image now. Click on the image size, and here's what we're going to do. First, change the resolution to 200 pixels per inch. Pixels or dot per inch. Our human eye is not able to see anywhere past 300 dots per inch. We're not dealing with fine art, so if we select this number here to be 200, we're going to stick to that. 200 pixels per inch is just fine for what we are doing. And then we're going to change the width of the image to, for the work order, it has to fill out the whole page. So let's make it close to 8 inches as possible. So let's make it 8 inches by 10 inches. We don't need 30 inches by 50 inches. So 8 by 10. When we clicked 8, the width and the height are locked in proportions. So when you change this, the other one is going to change automatically. So let's keep it at 8. Click OK. And then, just so we can see it better, we're going to hold the Alt key and use the wheel on the mouse to zoom in or out, just so we can see things properly. So now we have 200 dots per inch or pixels per inch and 8 by somewhere close to 10. So that's good. Now we are ready to save the image. Click File, Save As. Make sure we have JPEG format selected right here. Save this as, let's say, work order. And we're going to click Save. Make sure that the size is less than 1 megabyte. Over here we are showing 1.5 megabytes. That's a little too much for Microsoft Word to handle if we have multiple images like this. So we're just going to move this slider back a little bit. Let's say what 11 gives us. Let's go to 10. It's way less than 1 megabyte, so that's good. Click OK. Image is saved. We're going to close this right here. I'm going to minimize the Photoshop just to see. Okay, so here we have the work order. If we click on that, that's how it appears. Okay, so this is a processed image. So you see in size, if we click mouse over, it's 692 kilobytes. The original is 2.88 megabytes. That's a big difference in size. Plus we have this thing processed. Let's process the 110 punch down that we did during the lab too. Right click, open with Adobe Photoshop, click, and we wait for this image to appear. I'm going to rotate this image counterclockwise. Image rotation, counterclockwise. Alright, there we go. Can we crop this? Yeah, sure we can. Let's just mark it so about here. That's as much as we need for our purpose. Go image, crop. Click. I'm asking you to make sure that your initials are here. The visual dynamics are such that you can barely see the initials. So let's bump up the dynamics. Hold Control and press L. Now we have the levels menu show up, and we can play with those sliders to see if we can bump things up a little bit. Okay. You know what? This way I can see the initials a little bit better, and I can still see all the information as I need to see. You're going to have the background a little bit overexposed sometimes, but who cares about the background? We're interested in the content. I need to see things clearly in order to be able to evaluate your work. Okay, I'm happy with those levels. I can see the initials, so that's good. Click OK. Now we're going to resize this image because look at that. We have 50 inches by 25 inches or 20, almost 30 inches. That's not good. That's too much. We don't need this file as big. So again, we're going to go image size, and again, remember, first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the resolution to 200 pixels per inch, and we're going to change this into, let's say, 4 inches. This image is going to be within the table which is on the page, so it's going to be approximately 4 inches by 3 or so. There is no sense of making it 8 inches. It's just that much more information that the Microsoft Word is going to have to process, and the image is not going to be visually as big as 8 inches anyway. So we might as well get close to what we're going to have. Click 4 inches, and because the height and width are interlocked, the height changed automatically to keep the proportions. So we're happy with that. 200, 4 by 2.58, that's good. Click OK. Again, I'm going to hold the Alt key and use the wheel on the mouse just to bring up the view a little bit closer. We can save this file, save as, and let's name this one, I don't know, Jax. You're going to name it whatever you want, as long as you can find it and place it properly on the tables in the way that you're asked to do. Click Save. Let's see the size. I'm going to put this slider all the way up to the right to see what is the biggest possible size. That's 250.9 kilobytes. It is way less than 1 megabyte, so we can keep it in the maximum quality. Click OK, and the file is saved, and we're going to close this file because it's already saved. Let's just make sure that it's there in our folder. Yes, we have the Jax. That's what it looks like. Pretty good. Alright, so we have the work order, we have the Jax, and sometimes I'm going to ask you to photograph the test results. Try to photograph the test results in a way that they're clear. This is a bad example because you can see all the glare. We don't want that glare, so sometimes you need to pick up the meter just to get rid of the glare. We're going to crop this thing this way anyway, so try not to photograph the whole thing. Photograph just the screen portion so you have as little to crop as possible. We're going to choose this image to open in Adobe Photoshop. Open with Photoshop. Go to Image Rotation. Here it is. And we're going to go counterclockwise in order to bring it the right side up. Next thing, we're going to just crop the part that we want to see. We don't want to see all the background and everything else. So here's the selection tool. Good. And I'm just going to select just the screen. Image, crop. This is what we want. That's good. This is 40 inches by, I don't know, 25 or something. Let's bring the size down. Image size. Again, first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the resolution to 200 pixels per inch, and then let's go 4 inches because we're not going to have any bigger than that. We can reduce the size of the image visually in Microsoft Word later, so I'm going to select 4 inches here, and you can see that this number already has changed to keep the proportion. That's good. So 200, 4 by 2.58, 225. Alt key and use the wheel on the mouse to bring the view. So we have the size. Do we have the colors and the dynamics the way we want? Yes, but let's just for practice sake, just do it again. Control L. Level submenu shows up. Let's see what auto gives us if you press auto levels. It changed a little bit. We can play with the sliders just to get the image as clear as possible. So that's, I would say I'll be happy with this. Click OK. So we have rotated the image, resized the image, and now we have the bump. We bumped up the dynamics. So we're happy with this. I go File, Save As, and we're going to just, I don't know, we can save it, the test results. Test results. Make sure it's a JPEG. Click Save, and then let's look at the options for saving. The highest quality of the image is 371.7 kilobytes, so it is way less than 1 megabyte, which is good. We don't want anything more than 1 megabyte because we're going to put multiple images into Microsoft Word, and if the images are huge in size, then Microsoft Word is going to have just that much more to process the unnecessary information. Click OK, and we can close this. Now we're done with processing our image, so we can actually close the Photoshop. Do we have our images? We have our work order, we have our test results, and we have our JAX. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to open right here, we're going to open Microsoft Word. And we're going to select the blank file. Let's say I'm going to ask you to produce 2 pages, and on the page number 1 it's going to be work order, and page number 2 we're going to have 2 tables. Sometimes we're going to have another page with another 2 tables or so, depending on what the instruction tells you. We want to have 2 pages, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 pages by pressing Ctrl Enter. Now we have 2 pages. Page number 1, page number 2. Put the cursor in the beginning of the page number 1, right where the beginning is. Go halfway in size, and I'm going to grab this and bring it into the corner to make it a half screen. See, right here. Then here's our folder with our images. So now let's make sure that we have the cursor where we want to be, and now when we have the cursor here blinking, then we go to our file folder, and we're just going to drag and drop anywhere here on the page, and it's going to appear where the cursor is. So I'm going to drag and drop anywhere here, and it showed up where the cursor was. Maximize that, and just make sure that we're happy with the sizing. What we can do is we can click on the image, parameters show up. We can reduce the page in size, or we can increase the image in size, just to make sure that it fills as much of a page as possible, so things are clear and readable. Of course, the work order has to be filled out. Move to the next page. Click here, press Enter just once. So I'm not going to insert the tables right on top, because if I want to change something, I'm going to have a hard time inserting the cursor above the table. So here's the cursor, and I'm going to go Insert, and I'm going to click on Tables. 2 rows, 1 column. Click. So now we have table number 1. Click down under the table, press Enter, and create another table. Insert, select the table icon, go 2 rows, 1 column. Click, and now we have the other table. Select the content, which doesn't exist, but I'm still going to select that. So the content to be, I'm going to select the cells in the table, release, and I'm going to justify everything in the center. Click. So if I put my mouse anywhere in the table, I'm going to have everything centered. Alright, so let's place first image. Minimize it halfway, bring it into the corner to put half screen. So now our cursor is blinking here. Let's put the JAX in table number 1. So I'm going to just drag and drop on the page, and the image is going to end up where the cursor is blinking, right here. I'm going to select the file and folder. I'm going to drag and drop the jacks. Here they are. Okay, that's where the jacks are. Drag and drop, kaboom, there we go. And the image ended up where the cursor was. You can select that image and you can resize that if you wish, but this is good. Now I'm going to click here on the second table. That's where we want the second image to be, and I'm just going to drag and drop the test results. Drag and drop. Oh, and then the image ended up where the cursor was. Then the last thing we need to do is we need to label this. So we're going to just going to label it data jacks. Data jacks, for example, and over here we're going to label it test results. Now we can maximize our Microsoft Word. If you hold Control key and we use the wheel of the mouse, you can see the whole picture of how 2 pages look like. We're happy with the layout, the work order on the first page, and we have the images on the tables in the second page. The looks are going to vary, but this is just an example of how to place those images onto the Microsoft Word. Now I'm going to save this file, save as, and I'm going to choose my desktop, whatever folder you're going to choose from. Where is that folder that I want? Okay, that's my folder here, and we're going to go, let's say, lab example. Save. So now we have saved this document in Microsoft Word format, but what I want you to submit is not Microsoft Word format. I want you to submit a PDF file, but Microsoft Word will not let us save in PDF unless we save it in Microsoft Word first. So we have just done that. So I'm just going to click again now here onto the file again. Click onto the file and press this button here that says Save as Adobe PDF. Click, and it's going to keep the name and it's going to keep the folder. So all you have to do is click Save again, and we just wait for this PDF file to appear. It's going to take some time to process. Alright, now we have our PDF. Again, Control and wheel. We can just zoom in and zoom out. We're happy with that. And close that. Close the Microsoft Word. Here is our lab example saved in PDF. Click. It's going to appear as PDF file. And this is what I want you to submit in the submission folder under the lab that you're instructed to do so. This concludes this instructional video on how to prepare the deliverables.